Okay, everybody. So I'm back with March Mystery Madness Wrap Up Part 2. And in this video, I'm going to talk about the police procedural slash legal thrillers that I read or listened to this month so far. And this first book is Bluebird by Attica Locke. Now, I know a lot of people are still reading this book as part of the read along, so I'm not going to go into any deep review of this particular book. I like the book. I like the characters, especially our protagonist Darren. I really liked him. Her writing is fantastic, and although the book is plot driven, you really are invested in the characters in this book. So Darren is a black Texas Ranger investigating two murders in a rural town whose people don't want him there. They want him to mind his business, but his moral convictions and professional sense of responsibility just won't let him do that. I just thought it was so well written. And I can't wait to read another Attica Locke book. And that's all I'm going to say about Bluebird, because I don't want to accidentally give any spoilers on that one. The next book is The Third Victim by Philip Margolin. So I really enjoyed this book. I like Philip Margolin's writing. I just really enjoy it. So in this book, a young woman has been found kidnapped, beaten, bruised, burned, tortured. And she goes to the police and lets them know what happened. She is able to identify the place where she was being held. Now, the place she was held is owned by wealthy attorney Alex Mason, who is screaming as loud as he can to anybody who will listen that he's innocent. Unfortunately for Alex, there have been two other women found with the third girl's same injuries, and so he is on trial for murder and kidnapping. Um, and so this is a death penalty case. So he employs Regina Barrister, known in social circles as the sorceress, in the courtroom because she's able to weave all kinds of magic and get people off. She is a brilliant attorney. Unfortunately, though, there is something going on with Regina that can potentially harm not only Alex Mason, but her other clients as well. Enter Robin Lockwood. She's a new associate Regina has just hired. And Robin is very bright. She's very aggressive, and she, in a good way, and she is such a go-getter. And she is very concerned about not only Regina and what's going on with her, but she's also concerned that the facts in her case regarding Alex Mason just don't add up. I just thought this book was very well written. I really did enjoy it. And it was a very good introduction to the Robin Lockwood series. And so that was the first book. And the second book is The Perfect Alibi, which I just finished listening to on yesterday. And I definitely was not disappointed. In this book, Robin has taken on a couple of clients that give her a run for her money, basically. So her first client is a young woman who has accused a college football superstar, Blaine Hastings, of rape. And the DNA evidence against Blaine is overwhelming. He proclaims his innocence, threatens his lawyer and his accuser. When a second rape occurs, the DNA evidence again points to Hastings. The only problem? Hastings was in prison at the time the crime was committed. As a result, the convicted athlete, represented by a new lawyer, is granted a new trial and bail. Shortly thereafter, his original lawyer disappears and his law partner is murdered. So this book has a lot of twists and turns, lots of characters, very interesting subplots going on in this book. And I really did like it. I like this one, actually, I think, a little bit more than The Third Victim, but it was a very short book, only 6 discs. So you could get through this one pretty quickly. I enjoyed it. I definitely did. The next one is Feared by Lisa Scottoline. This book is part of a series, her Rosado and D'Annunzio series. The good thing is the book is a standalone novel. You don't have to have the previous frame of reference for this book. Their law firm is being sued for sexual discrimination because all the partners are women. There's only one male law associate in the entire firm. And the women learn that he has even been complaining to other people about it, and maybe there is some basis to the lawsuit because he says he never felt comfortable at the firm. Well, not only do the women have to deal with this particular lawsuit and his potential leaving the firm, but then someone very close to them is actually murdered. And now they're knee deep in trying to figure out what happened. And to make matters worse, Mary D'Annunzio is pregnant and about to have a baby any day now. So in this series, I'll just say this. I thought 80% of the book was very good. The first 80%, I'm with you. The last 20% of the book, I felt really let down. Yeah, I was just really bothered by the last part of the book. It just didn't sit well with me. It just didn't make sense to me. Now there may be other people who feel like it was the greatest thing, but it just didn't work for me. Okay. The next book is The Catwoman by Karin Slaughter. Now the prologue in this book was very intriguing, but the introductory chapters for me were very slow. It's told in third person, limited point of view. So she's narrating through the lens of our protagonist, Will Trent, and his girlfriend, Sarah. I call them Wimpy Will and Sappy Sarah. I was just so over the two of them. And I was about to DNF the book, and I said to myself, put in one more disc. And if this one disc doesn't change your mind, just go ahead and do it. When I put that disc in, she changed the perspective of the story from Will and Sarah to Angie Pulowski, Will's estranged wife. And that is when the story actually got good. In the beginning, I was more interested in the crimes they were investigating than the relationship between Will and Sarah. I got so sick of hearing about the relationship. I didn't care, about them. I wanted to hear about the crime. I wanted to hear, what was going on with that. And so when she switched to Angie Pulowski's point of view, the tone of the book changed. It became a lot more interesting. I was invested in the story. I wanted to know what was going to happen. It became thrilling. The plot became more compelling. The characters were more interesting. There were some passages in the book where it's so good to hear about the past of the characters so you can understand where they're coming from. But in some ways, she lingered too long in the past. I was like, touch on it, but don't linger there. Get me back to the present story, because staying in the past so much was taking away, in my opinion, from the story at hand. Although it all made sense and it all needed to be there, it just felt long. Okay. Angie was a fun and complex character. You hate that you love. And I really did love that character. Her part of the story alone made it a 4-star read, in my opinion. But yeah, it was book 8 in the Will Trent series, but it doesn't matter. I haven't read all the other books in this series, but I really did enjoy this book once we got to Angie Pulowski's point of view. It just made it so much better. So that is my wrap up for the first half of the month. And I will try to get to the other books that I showed in my wrap up part 1, which I'll just show them again real quick in case you didn't see it. Long Road to Mercy by David Baldacci. That Night by Chevy Stevens. And Most Dangerous Place by James Grappando. So these are the next 3 that I'm going to dig into for the month. And If you've read any of these books, just let me know what your thoughts or opinions are on any of these books. And I'll see you next time in my next video. Until next time, everybody, keep reading. Bye-bye.